Did you guys notice the long delay that we had before we played the intro video, so that people managed to get a good gander at that handsome devil on on the back on the back? I've got no idea. I don't know.
What's that masked man? Looks like someone who's trying to be a rock star there, mate. That's all.
Well, I'm sure when people, hey, Amy, thank you for joining us. Caught you live at last for a minute till I hit the hay. Hey, Amy is a very, very good friend of the channel. She follows us on some Facebook groups. So thank you, Amy. I'm Andrew. Simon will introduce himself, and Brad will introduce himself.
Good morning, Amy. How you doing? Thanks for joining. I know what you mean about being in the middle of the night.
I think you should stay up.
5 in the morning.
Hang out. Stay up and hang out.
Yeah, this is our end of year wrap show, Amy. So we're just we're the three co-hosts for the show. So we're just hanging out and just talking about some of the good things that have happened in a horrible year, and some positive things that we'd like to see next year. So thank you for joining us, Amy. So Simon, what did you think of last night's show, the Rolling Stones show?
Good, yeah. We're getting the hang of these things now, aren't we? and working out how they work and things like it. It's really good fun. Yeah, I think what's really great is that I go back and listen to albums in a way that I haven't listened to them before. You sit down, you put your headphones on, and you're kind of good morning, Ellen Vorosheim is here, supporting us as usual. Thank you, Ellen. Hope you're good. That's the really cool thing. I mean, in spite of some of the albums I've not really listened to before, like From the Cradle, for instance, that was great, and not rediscovering or discovering sort of new music, new to me anyway, has been fantastic. To me, that's the best thing. Is and even like Layla, which I know reasonably well, just sitting down listening to it. From beginning, put your headphones on, like we used to, not like I used to when I was a kid, because when I was a kid growing up in the early 70s, there wasn't anything else. Probably three channels on the television, BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. And I was left, didn't have a television in my room or anything nonsense like that. I was way in the future. So basically, all you had was your record player to play records on. And I've said this on here quite a lot. I used to lie out on the parapet, 4 stories up in my dad's house, and with Dark Side of the Moon on, looking at the stars. Because that's what you did. Because that was king entertainment when I was 14 years old.
It was good to get Carl on.
It was good to wake Carl up. Yes. And stop him messing about.
No, it was good to get Carl on. Good to get him involved in the conversation again, because his insights, pretty deep. He's been a Stones nut for a long time. So what did you think, Brad? You thought how did you think the show went yesterday?
I really enjoyed it. The flow was really good. Hearing everyone's input and the variations of rating, like there was a lot of similarities with the songs, and then there was a couple
of differences. Yeah,
and it just goes to show that these things that we're giving are just our opinions. They're not, they're not gospel. We're not saying this is what is right or wrong. We're just being truthful to what we feel as listeners, and we are all musicians as well. So we're coming from a musician background as well, but. I think we're getting, like Simon said, we're getting the hang of these things where we're sort of diving into the depths of these albums. We're covering all the bases without sort of going too far away from them as well. And we're bringing in references that are close by, or, we're talking about things that are relevant to that album or to that song, but we're pulling them back to the album as well, which is really good. And yesterday was one of the really enjoyable ones, but they're all been enjoyable, Andrew. So,
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you guys. And what's really pleasing too is some of the comments I'm getting on social media from guys saying, I never thought, and again, we've got to pat ourselves on the backs, guys, because this is, a true story, and these are from experienced social media guys saying, I never thought about actually going through an album track by track. I've been participants of lots of shows talking about albums or eras of bands, but we've never actually sat down and gone through an album song by song and put it into the context of the era and how we're listening to it now. So when other people are saying this to me, like Johnny Bean, for example, and a couple of other guys that watch his show, I'm kind of going, oh, that's pretty good. We've done pretty well there, Simon and Brad. Hey, Wednesday Store.
Wednesday Store, how you doing? Dave, nice to see you, man. Hope you're good.
Yeah.
Safe and well. Yeah, really good to see you.
But
Thanks for joining.
humbling. It's humbling, though, to get that. But you look, I agree with you, Simon and Brad. I think it's fascinating because you are forced to go back and listen to a lot of these albums that you probably have listened to for years, or like Simon mentioned, albums that you haven't listened to for a while, and then you renegotiate it. So look, I'm going to jump in and say one of the fifth. I've got 5 highlights for the year. And out of all the shows we've done, I have to take my hat off to you guys. And the two favourite shows I've enjoyed this year have been the Layla shows that we've done. They are by far my favourite shows, and I've probably watched them 3 or 4 times, just to get that kind of feedback and analyse, about getting the point across and being succinct, and but also just trying to pick up on some of the things that Simon has said and Brad yourself have said, and even more important, what some of our followers in the chat have said too, because sometimes we're talking and gasbagging, we don't sort of concentrate too much on the chat that's going on. So and we're only a small channel, so just imagine if we get to a stage where we've got 50 or 40 or 30 people watching and the chat's flying. So
we will get there.
yeah. But thank you, Simon, and thank you, Brad, because the preparation that you guys did for that show, and I know that you guys prepare for every show, but the preparation that you guys did, especially for those 2 shows, just blew me away. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, it was one of those albums that actually you could dig a long way into, couldn't you? There's a lot of stuff around it.
Bobby's still talking about it. He's uploaded 3 videos the last 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch them yet, but I will. But you're right, and I think that that I've got that live at the Fillmore, long CD alongside, and all those, and you think to yourself, there's a lot in here. There's a lot going on. I think that makes it a really good album to talk about, and I think that looking back 50 years later is that's a good amount of time to take in what the album is, what's the situation in which it's made, and kind of when is it, the times it's made in as well.
We dug deep, man. We dug deep on those 2 shows.
We did.
It was a bit of an epic album to do as well, because there were so many songs, and I think we did really well to cover off nearly all the dynamics in every song. We did really well on that show. I agree with you, Andrew. Actually, that was really good. But I also selfishly really enjoyed the physical graffiti one as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, what was your favourite show, Simon, for the year? Have you got one that's a standout for you?
Well, I think I agree. I think the Layla one has really been the standout one. closely followed by Physical Graffiti. I think that those particularly, because they're double albums. There's a lot of stuff to dig into there, and they are in a sense part of my, the Stones one yesterday is the same, but part of my rock history growing up. I got Physical Graffiti in 1972 when it came out. Because you can never have too much Led Zeppelin, but so that's kind of why I went to see them in 1975. I have a connection, with that because it's from my teenage years, picking it up then, and those albums that the three that we've done that really picked up have been I feel have real connection with, because they're part of my teenage years, and I think that's for me really important. You might have noticed.
Well,
keep going on about it.
We've set the precedent, because when we do Abbey Road, we're probably going to have to do that over 2 shows too. We're going to have to do like an intro, set the scene, talk about the gear, and then the next show go through and do the album rankings. Certainly if you're going to do, and when we do Exile on Main Street too, you're going to have to probably do, follow that kind of format, because there's a lot to talk about. And what's really scary, guys? We're getting, up to a shitload more albums that are going to turn 50 over the next couple of years. So there's going to be a lot more classic rock albums to be celebrated. So we're just doing our bit.
I'm looking forward to, I think we spoke off air in messages back and forwards, Andrew, about I think it was after our show yesterday, we 3 of us had a bit of a chat about a project that someone's working on a band that we're going to be covering soon. So I don't know if we're going to spill too much about that, but we're looking forward to that episode as well. I don't know if you remember, we're doing Beatles, so it's related to the Beatles.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Sonia. Hey, Sonia.
Sonia.
Yeah, so while Sonia's here, guys, I just want to do a little special shout out to Sonia. I know that we really appreciate our supporters, and we know who the ones have been here right from the start. And Sonia is one of them, isn't she, Simon? She's been here right from the start, and we do know that you share our channel, and we did a shout out to you a couple of weeks ago, but we wanted to do another special one. Thank you, Sonia. The number one lady in Texas.
You do a fantastic job, and we don't forget. And, we've had 1 or 2 hairy moments this year, haven't we? That we've managed to get through with Sonia's help. So, Sonia, thank you, and I hope you're good, staying safe and well in sunny Texas.
No timeouts today.
Yeah.
No. But Dave's mentioning something that's a little bit interesting too, because that's part 2. So I was going to do a bit of a shout out to Dave on some of the guests. We've been lucky. We've been very lucky to have a couple of guests. We've had Great Vanzini on. We've had Kubrick Lover on. Sonia was meant to come on, but she had a couple of issues that delayed that. So we always have an open invitation for Sonia to come on, and also Arvin. But we were lucky to have Ramon from the Guitar Show on. We had Dave Simpson. We had Sam Cutler, and we had Brad. And we managed to get Brad on as a co-host, and he's just seamlessly slotted in. And look, Brad, I've got to tell you, and I'm sure Simon thinks the same way. The dynamic that you've brought into the show, your perspective, has just taken my outlook up higher. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome to the team.
It means a lot. I just enjoy being part of it, so I can't thank you guys enough for re-inviting me back all the times that you are, and working my ass off the way you do, and
It's digital imprisonment, Brad. You've
and
been
now
told
I've been,
not allowed to leave.
I'm not allowed to leave now. So yeah, that's the kind of, yeah. I don't know how I got trapped in, but I'm grateful I'm in there. So yeah.
Yeah, when your career takes off, you'll still be doing this. By the way, so I'm
On
not
the
gonna
road,
back
I'll be
it.
touring. I'll be
Yeah.
remotely from my laptop. You know.
Thank you, Basingstoke. Good night. I've got to go and do a show.
Simon, you got any highlights you want to share with us?
Oh dear.
That have been stick-outs for you.
Well, one of my highlights has been being on the show. You and I continuing the show. And kind of
how many years?
Well,
3, 4.
Are we into? No, we're not. No, it's probably 3 actually, isn't it?
3.
Is it 3 years that you and I since I sort of took.
It might be 4.
No, it's not 4. No.
It's not 4.
It's not.
Okay, it's 3.
No. It's like 2016, 27. I'd say 2017.
Okay.
We didn't go to Spain this year, so we were in Spain last year.
Okay.
I've probably done 2 Spanish shows.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably.
So 3 years. Okay. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Certainly. I certainly remember doing 1, maybe 2. But yeah. So
thank you.
I get up at 5 o'clock because I love it.
Thank you. Oh,
half the year anyway.
That's because you're a morning person, Simon. You love it.
Well, yes, I'm a morning person. Yes. So I get woken up by my alarm at 10 to 5.
Oh no! We certainly appreciate that too, mate. And obviously the depth and input and analysis that you provide is a key component to the show. So, and we look forward to doing more.
I love talking about rock music, and
me too.
This is such an ideal forum to, I describe it to people who my family have no interest at all, but kind of like it's like going down the pub with your mates and kind of talking about the things you like to talk about, kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so Amy wants a roll call. So Simon, if you'd like to tell Amy where you're from, and then Brad.
Amy, I'm in the UK. I'm near a city called Bristol, on the west side of the UK. So yeah, that's me.
Brad?
Oh, I'm from Melbourne, Australia. So I'm in Victoria, Melbourne, Australia. So sunny Victoria, beautiful place.
Amy, where are you? Where are you based? We get some context about it if she knows where we are. Yeah.
And Amy, I'm from Hamilton, New Zealand, and I've spoken to Amy a few times on social media. She's a Peter Green nut. She loves British blues, and I'm sure I've even invited her onto the channel. I'm sure I have. Can you confirm that, Amy? But yeah. So we're all around the world. We've had guys from the UK, guys from Australia. A few guys from North America. Yeah, from New Jersey.
We encompass the world.
Yeah. She's a Peter Green nut.
We're covering the bases around the world.
Yeah. So I have to say that apart from that, it's highlights have been a bit hard to come by this year, because all the things I was going to do musically, like go to Italy for a week playing a guitar and stuff with some really cool people, sadly it's not been happening this year. No, we think Dave and I managed a couple of gigs first 3 months of the year, but nothing beyond that. So it's just been a case of keeping your head down, working and doing this, which has been great fun and a great distractor from the nonsense of the real world.
I think in April, when I was in lockdown for 4 weeks, and I think we did like 3 or 4 shows a week there. We were just every second day. Brad, we were on.
Slave driving, Brad. He had the lash on my back.
We were just, and again, look, again, this is one of the points that we keep talking about, guys. This is one of the great things about social media, isn't it? That we can share this positive vibe, this positive feeling, this, share these interests. And we've taken that position responsibly, and we're serious about it, I remember talking to Brad early on. And Brad was saying, you know, why again, like us, why would you go and say that's not how I play that Led Zeppelin song, you idiot? You know, so, you know, why can't you just say, I don't play it like that, I play it like this? Yeah. So that's one of the great things about, I think, musicians and music fans being involved in social media. Just make nice comments, you know, just be
nice or
positive.
move on. Be nice or move on. There's no point being negative. That's it.
Yeah.
You got a highlight there, Brad, that you want to share with us?
Yeah,
In your list, from your list.
I got a few, Andrew. Obviously, you know, meeting you guys, being part of this show is a highlight for me. I really enjoy doing this. So otherwise, I wouldn't keep turn. Oh, actually, even if I didn't want to, Andrew wouldn't let me now. But so I keep, you know, doing my homework. I really enjoy breaking down the album the way we are, and enjoy the interaction. And it's great to connect, you know, through these means with you guys. I mean, we're on different parts of the planet, and we're able to catch up like this, which is really cool. And you know, the friendship that we've all formed, which is great. So
Yep.
that's a highlight. You know, I've on a personal note, obviously, I'll steer away from the negatives and steer more to the positives. I've released some singles. I've released some videos. I've released an EP. I've launched a website. I've managed to do quite a bit with all things considered being locked down. I've released some merchandise. You know, if I put a list out like that, I actually feel really good about what I've achieved through this time. You know, I mean, it's difficult because we can't tour, we can't gig, we can't back up. But you know, had my ups and downs like everyone. But positively keep sort of coming out of the other end of it. You know, started to write some new material that I'll release next year, and a few ideas looking forward. I caught up with the studio that did the mixing mastering a couple of days ago, and I caught up with my friend there, Matt Robbins, and we spoke about doing some possibly live streams recording into next year, which I don't want to talk too much about at this stage, but even just recording a couple of my songs with a bass player and a drummer live, and then putting them out through YouTube, and doing a few things like to get myself out there. But yeah, that's been a real highlight for me. You know, I managed to do that, which was, you know, I did it all myself. I recorded it all myself. I launched it on my own, no backing. Everything that I've done and achieved is me. And so, I mean, I couldn't be happier with the end result, other than the fact that I just want to get out there and play some stuff too, which will happen. It will happen.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, give it another 6 months, and I don't know how Australia's doing with the vaccine rollout, but the UK's done about 500,000 people already, including my mum, which is really good. So you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, being in the queue for that, and then getting back some kind of playing and normality. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, look, that's all positive, but again, the biggest highlight is this.
Yeah. What about you, Simon? You got something else on your list that you want to share with us?
I could segue into what Dave asked, which is, have you got any albums from the last 5 years? I think my top album from this year, I think, without any doubt, is this one.
Hold on, I'll just present you. Yep.
Anybody's watched the show for 5 minutes. I think this is a magnificent record. I've played it lots since I got it before Christmas. I think it's a fantastic record, almost record for the times. But
wow,
it's a meditation on mortality, on lost friends, on love, on, you know, your past, coming to terms with your past. It's a fantastic. If you've not heard it, it's a fantastic record. Brilliantly done over 5 days in his home studio. Lucky man, we didn't even get it. But I'll show the entitlement because it's cool. But it's nice.
So when do you get your AC/DC album? Sonia wants to know.
I haven't. So I have to admit I didn't.
No, I'm paraphrasing her comment. She's not asking you. She's saying.
She said it. Thank you, Sonia. Yeah. Good morning, Great Vanzini. How you doing? Hope you're good. So that's my album that I think I'd probably of the year and I don't know if I'm making too much of a statement by saying it has sustained me through the last 3 years. I mean,
brilliant.
I'm a Bruce Springsteen fan since 1978 when I bought Darkness on the Edge of Town, and I've always felt a special affinity with what he does. Even some of the more minor stuff, there's always something on there that I love, and this particular album is really strong. There's a lot of new stuff. There's 2 songs from going way back. There's one of them from his audition with John Hammond in 72 or something. Yes, I can't say more better than an album. That it has sustained me for months through the winter months. When somebody sings, I hear the sound of your guitars. It's a thrill.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that Philip Sace's album Spirit Rising was a highlight for the year. Checking out Brad's EP, Over Now, The Planet of Love, and the video that he did, which is fantastic. Definitely a highlight. I've listened to that album, Simon, a couple of times. I'm a Bruce Springsteen nut. I certainly look forward to listening to it more. But yeah, that's one of the great things about music, Simon and Brad. It's it does more for you than you can probably express in words.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I have to echo the Philip Sace thing. That was a highlight for me too, Andrew, because when he released Spirit Rising at the start of this year, it kind of egged me on to get my EP out, to be honest with you. So it was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those things. And I'm grateful, extremely grateful that he's reached out to me a few times in a few private messages and been quite nice. And he always comments, great work, great album that you've released, great, and just, I don't even know the guy other than through social media, but that's for someone who inspired me to press the trigger and release something. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty grateful for that too.
Yeah,
we'll
really
get
cool,
the gear when an artist inspires you to push on and do your own thing. That's really cool. Yeah.
So Dave jumping the gun there. We'll get there, Dave. We'll get there. That's one of the things on the list. But yeah, Philip Sace.
Yeah,
he's a monster player.
Yeah, and I was always sitting on the fence of releasing something on my own because, in the past I've always tried to collaborate with other bands and other members and whatnot. But I was always dubious about putting something out with my voice on it, and then I've been a big fan of Philip Sace in the last couple of years, and then hearing Spirit Rising and how pure that was and how earthy it was, and the spiritual side behind it and everything like that, it just egged me on, and I just went, look, just do it, man. You can do this. Like, not at the same level as him, obviously.
Hey, Nelson.
So,
yeah. Got Nelson in the house.
Morning, Nelson. Morning, Nelson.
He's turning out to be a regular. Another standout for me, Simon and Brad, this year was the tribute show that they did for Peter Green back in February. And who would have known, a few months after that, Peter Green passed away. So probably a good time to have a tribute. What was really interesting, Brad, I don't know if you caught it, but Simon and I mentioned it on a couple of shows. Interesting how music fans can be difficult sometimes, because some fans were saying, why are you doing a tribute show when the guy's still alive? And Mick Fleetwood said clearly, well, we're doing it because we want to say thank you because he is alive. Ding dong.
And
Do you
that's
think-
the whole point.
Do you
That's the
think
whole-
they knew something we didn't, Andrew?
Maybe.
I mean, there's always a possibility that they knew that he was not well, and
Yep.
you know, like the EVH thing, Eddie Van Halen. We that obviously they knew without publicising it to the extent of how he was suffering. So
Yeah. And that's fine, it's kind of, I agree with Andrew. I think, that I think a lot, you hear a lot of people say, wish I could go to my own wake kind of thing, because, it's, and we had a similar situation with my aunt who died and last year, the year before. But so she basically had a massive family party about 3 months before she died. So get everyone together, and we all went, and it was a fantastic family gathering occasion. So so I'm
Hey,
just kind
Kurt.
of having a wake before she died, which is fantastic. That's the way it should be done. So I think I was all for to do something while he's alive, so that he knows that he was loved, and people admire, loved and admired his playing, what he did, stuff. Yeah. Why not tell them when they're alive? Let's wait till they die, then they won't know.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with another friend of mine about that recently, and I want to share this with you guys, and certainly with Kurt. He's in the chat. He's a big Van Halen nut. He's a co-host on the
Morning,
next 5150 show that's coming up. But what's really interesting about the tribute that they did with Peter Green, if they did know something, well, they didn't say. So if they wanted to do the tribute when he was alive, Simon, well, they did that successfully. So if you look at EVH, so a lot of people knew who were close to Van Halen that he was suffering and
Sure.
sick. So would having a tribute while Eddie was alive, would that have been something positive? Is that something worth considering?
Well, I think maybe not. I don't know about a tribute for EVH. I think that's slightly different because he was still more in the public eye. Peter Green had pretty much dropped out, hadn't he? Hadn't really done any gigging for a long time or anything else. Whereas I think that but I hope that his family and his friends all got together and had a bit of a shindig, because I say, thinking about my aunt Debbie who died, that was one of the really great things we did. Just a few months before she died, we all got together and had a bit of a party.
Got an opinion on that, Brad?
Look, every situation is slightly different. I guess the Peter Green thing, he was, publicly not in a good place anyway. So maybe they just wanted to do that for him. Maybe they didn't realise, who knows. But doing a tribute for someone like Peter Green, as for EVH, like Eddie, I'm not sure it would be the same sort of kettle of fish. Or I just don't think it's the same. I think with Eddie, it was more. I know Eddie hadn't done anything really in 5 years, but in the public eye, he was still relevant, more so than Peter Green, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but also,
I'm not saying that they should have. That's not my view. It was just a conversation that we're having. I don't think that they should have had a tribute for Van Halen, because ultimately, Simon and Brad, it comes down to the artist and the family. If they don't want people to know that you're sick and they want to deal with it in-house, it's their right.
Probably more the case would be with Eddie. For them, they were keeping a lot of that stuff quiet. So, and I guess that Wolfgang interview where he talked about how they were looking at the kitchen sink tour, that may have been how they would have liked to have signed things out as Van Halen and a farewell to Eddie, as Eddie part of it maybe, but obviously he just got to a point where he was unable to. So, but look, it's nice to think that they could have done that for Peter Green before he passed away, because I'm sure he would have got some joy out of that. You know.
Oh, clearly. So for me, guys, we've spoke about this off air, didn't we? And that we were going to do a roll call, but so I'll just get that kicked off then, if that's okay. So obviously EVH is my Jimi Hendrix. He's my generation's Jimi Hendrix. So him passing had a big effect on me. And I'm a big Peter Green nut. And when Peter Green passed away in the middle of the year, it was like, oh, okay, so I'm not going to see Peter Green. But Peter Green, I was listening to Peter Green differently than I was listening to Van Halen. Simon, you were listening to Led Zeppelin when they were topical, in the middle of the 1970s, so you're listening to them differently, aren't you, as opposed to, some Texas blues guy 20 years prior, even though you like him. But those certainly were two big ones for me. And then on Christmas Day, if you guys aren't aware, the Van Halen of the bluegrass guitar, Tony Rice. And if you guys don't know this, I'm a bluegrass fan, have been for 3.5 years. He passed away. So, rest in peace, guys. If you guys want to add anyone else to the list that had any effect on you guys?
I've got to come. Just on Tony Rice, you said off air, he's like the Eddie Van Halen of the bluegrass. I'm to my shame, I've never heard of him, so I should go and check him out. And seen some of the things he posted. Like, why? And I'm one of those people who goes, why haven't I heard of him? How much of an idiot am I? I haven't heard of him. It's interesting, but amongst other people, obviously for me, Little Richard passing, one of the founders of rock and roll. I think, without Little Richard, without most of us in many ways, the Beatles, clearly influenced by Little Richard to Paul McCartney. So I think that, he, as one of the founding fathers of rock and roll, that, that's a great loss, there's not many left, are there? So Jerry Lee Lewis is probably the last one, I think, of those original guys. Don't think anybody else is particularly alive. So I'll mark the passing of Little Richard this year. Bam boom.
Brad, anyone that, or do you want to add to any name that's already been mentioned?
Look, I'm just trying to. This year just seems like a real blur, Andrew. But the biggest, obviously, for me, being a guitar nut, being heavily influenced by Van Halen, that was the big one for me this year. I mean, Peter Green, yes. Whenever I hear of someone passing away, it really it makes you really think about what the legacy, what they've left behind, how they've done. Yes, there's been a fair few people pass away this year. We had Neil Peart from Rush. That was I'm not a massive Rush fan, but I appreciate Rush. And to actually, consider what contribution Rush had to the rock world. I mean, one of my favorite bands from Canada called the Tea Party were heavily influenced by Rush. And who knows if the Tea Party would have existed without Rush. We don't know, but they're a big influence. That's just sort of adding a few more, but I believe we lost Patti Smith. We lost.
We didn't lose Patti Smith this year.
Oh no, that's
we didn't. I must have missed it.
Sorry, sorry, I've written down the wrong person.
That's right.
But we did. For the big one for me was Eddie. Really, that was a big one for me. I think we even did a show that night, guys. That he passed away. So that that was really, it took a lot to get through. Like for me, it took me weeks to get over that. That's probably one of the big ones for me that I've ever had to get through. So
Yeah.
was someone who I always admired, Frankie Benali from. He's quite right. The drummer, he was, in my opinion, a monster drummer. Someone that we lost there that was relevant up until he lost his battle. There was quite a few, and I'm just looking through a massive list here of people we've lost.
Just I'll
Lee
insert
Lee Kerslake. We lost Lee Kerslake
from
in 19th of September. He's from Ozzy Osbourne and Uriah Heep.
Uriah Heep, yeah, absolutely, one of the founders of Uriah Heep.
So it's been a. I mean, there's a massive list I'm just looking at, but yeah, there's been a massive loss this year. But it makes you really think about these artists, even going back and listening to, this part of the show as we go back and listen to a lot of these albums, and we go back and listen to whether it's Layla or whether it's Balance from Van Halen, whatever the album is that we're going through, you really can, because we're diving deep into the song and we're hearing, and you really think about the influence it's had over yourself as a musician or even just as a listener, the effect it has on you. Songs that bring joy, songs that bring sadness, songs that it lifts all these different emotions, and the legacy that some of these musicians have left, just phenomenal. And we lost Leslie West, which was a big one.
Yeah.
So the monumental guitar player Leslie West, Mountain. I mean,
in every way.
I revisited some Mountain. I haven't listened to Mountain for a long time, and I've listened, and it makes you appreciate, that they did influence so many people. Mountain, like Leslie West, influenced. I mean, Leslie West played with Van Halen. He got up and played with Van Halen, and they played Mississippi Queen. And like, what I'm saying is there was massive.
Woodstock. Played at Woodstock too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he played on the same bills as like Hendrix and things like that, and like the monumental loss. But yes, Eddie Van Halen being the Jimi Hendrix of our generation, I guess, is a massive loss. That one really, really knocked me around this year. Because,
he was the one that we were listening to. That's the one. I wasn't listening to Peter Green the way that I was listening to Eddie Van Halen. I had 20 friends who were listening to Van Halen. I was the only one listening to Peter Green. Van Halen was everywhere. You didn't have to be a music nut or a guitar nut to be listening to, Jump or Panama when that album came out, or 5150. I remember going to a party, 100 people at a party, and that 5150 album just been played non-stop all night. And by the end of it, just about everybody knew at least the chorus. And you know what it's like when you're 18 or 19 years old and you're half drunk and you're having a good time and people are singing a song. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Can I say, on the subject of Leslie West, Leslie, obviously drummer in Mountain, Felix Pappalardi, producer of Cream. But in the late 60s, early 70s, we used to have there was a Sunday morning political show called Weekend World. It was produced by a man called Brian Walden. So, and in the days when there wasn't much on television, and the theme tune to it was Nantucket Sleigh Ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the theme. It's just weird. It's like, and obviously, so that again, that thing, that echo from your childhood. The Nantucket Sleigh Ride. Right, and here's my test. Remember what Nantucket Sleigh Ride is? Do you know what a Nantucket Sleigh Ride is? I've said it on here before. See if you can remember.
I can't remember.
Well, Nantucket is the whaling town where all the whalers went out to catch whales.
Oh, that's correct.
And,
yeah.
They, obviously you go out in a ship and then you find the whale. So you go out in a harpoon boat, sort of 12-foot, whatever, and you'd harpoon the whale, by hand. And then the whale, having been harpooned, would take off, dragging your boat behind you. That is a Nantucket sleigh ride, being pulled around by a whale that you've just harpooned, which is a lovely thing. But yeah, the Nantucket sleigh was so every week, 12 o'clock, whatever it was, Brian Ward, heavyweight political show, but it had Nantucket Sleigh Ride by Mountain as its theme tune.
I remember. I remember another British show that used to have a Jessica was the theme show.
Top Gear.
Top Gear. Yeah, So yeah, and another transatlantic crossing situation, but. Yeah. Look, what a year! We're not going to talk about the big thing of this year. We made that quite clear. We spoke about that a couple of shows ago, but we're just going to avoid that. But a lot of people are passing away.
Bill Withers, we lost Bill Withers.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah,
we lost.
Toots in the Motels.
Did we lose Kenny Rogers?
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers. Yeah.
Kenny Rogers, giant of country.
Charlie Pride.
Little Richard. We lost Little Richard.
Yeah.
Get that. Without Little Richard, there might not be a Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. He played with him, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah. And the Isley Brothers.
Kind of gave him his. So yeah, there's a ton, and it's been a pretty interesting year. Let's just say that.
Any other highlights on your list, Simon, for you? Bit of a segue out of the fact that we were talking about past musicians and artists, but no disrespect, but we'll come back to that when we start talking about legacies, because. Our show in one kind of way is a legacy to all the music that we like, and I think if we do that well, that's something to be proud of, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the highlights for me is my friend Ariel Posen.
Oh, awesome!
Who released this year? So. Was it 8-track kind of live record that you recorded in the studio? And
he's fantastic. Yeah.
I went. Well, he was on the. I go on this guitar breaks holiday, Brad, like a week in Italy, playing the guitar with lots of middle-aged blokes like me. And one of the people who's been on it twice is like the tutor, the professional, has been Ariel. So obviously I've got to know a bit over those things, and that's the last gig I went to. I think last gig we went to was to go and see him in a pub in Bristol. Who did a sort of little UK tour. So yeah, he's a really lovely guy, and he's an amazing player. I urge anyone, when it's not check him out if you haven't.
I recently shared something he did. He played, I think it was Strawberry Fields on an electric guitar, just sitting there. I think I shared it on my Instagram stories once a few weeks ago because it was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic guitarist.
He's fantastic. Yeah, and he's about 32. I hate the young.
Yeah, so do I.
But if you haven't checked him out, check him out, because he's an amazing guitar player, and he's a lovely guy as well.
Look forward to you getting back on that Guitar Breaks trip, Simon. So let's cross fingers and hope that Simon gets there. If not this year, if not next year, 21, 22, because that's just around the corner.
Well, maybe the latter half of 21, maybe getting into the autumn. We kind of, the vaccines had a really good chance to be rolled out to lots of people, and we can start then to do a bit of travelling with not that's been made any easier after December the 31st for us.
Yeah.
That's the other thing we're not mentioning.
Top Gear purchases. So I'll kick that off. So my top gear purchases for this year has been my Marshall Blues Breaker, the amp that I always wanted, and this here picking up the 2 Notes Captor X is a phenomenal piece of kit that works really well with the amp. And also, if you guys have a look behind me there, my Squire Custom, my Squire Classic Vibe Stratocaster, I put a mint green pick guard on that baby, and she looks hot. So those are my top gear purchases. Simon and Brad, what have you guys picked up this year that you want to talk about?
You'll go, Simon.
I picked up a few things this year in lockdown. Principally, I think this one.
Oh, yeah, what a baby.
1990
made in Japan.
Made in Japan Stratocaster. What an instrument, man. This is it's been amazing. I mean, the neck is probably the best neck of guitars I've got. I mean, it's just smooth as you like, and it's a great. I'm really pleased to get this guitar. It's a fantastic guitar, and it plays beautifully, and it sounds fantastic. And
awesome, Simon.
I couldn't be happy with it as a kind of almost an impulse purchase. Really saw it and picked it up. But it is a great. And as you will know, having watched this show, I've got a sort of 32-year-old Japanese Strat as well that I've had since it was new, since I've had since '88. And the frets are shot on it, so it's waiting to go to a local luthier called Johnny Kincaid, who works in Bristol. Who's in fact the guys from that pedal show use him as well. So I have to elbow them out of the way to get him. But I'm on his list to do my Japanese, my other Strat. I am going to get it refretted. It's my number one playing guitar. I can't do. Think, it's 32 years old. You can't possibly start. It's going to get played. It goes out with me. It gets played. It needs to be in playing condition, not original condition. So hard lines.
Brad, any gear purchases you want to share with us?
Well, at the start of the year, while I was recording my EP, I needed some effects that I didn't have. So I reached out to a friend of mine who's a pedal builder here in Melbourne. And he did a really good deal with and customized some pedals for me. So I got this one here. Oh.
Yeah, that way, that's it.
So I got this one here. I'll start with this one. This one's like a Univibe pedal. Wow. So this here is a stomp top made by the guy who modifies my Marshall amps. So it just makes it easier to get on. But I use this on my EP a fair bit. It's the brand's called Klinger. Sean Klinger's the guy who builds these pedals in Melbourne, Australia. So this here is pretty much a Univibe clone. It's fantastic. It sounds very, very Band of Gypsies, Hendrix Band of Gypsies vibe. Very cool. I can't say enough good things about it. It fits on a pedal board nicely. It's not too big. It's got real deep, rich, pulsing Univibe tones. Fantastic pedal. And this one is called a Ravi.
That's pretty. That's pretty.
It is. And so that's your fuzz. It's so it's a fuzz. And this is an Octavia. So you can get the real Band of Gypsies vibe going with this.
Oh, wow.
And it's got a lot of different variations in the pedal with the controls, and they actually do make a big difference. So he makes great pedals. He does sell these on his website, but this one he tweaked a little bit so we could get closer to the Philip Sace vibes with the fuzzes. So there you go. So
is it like a King of Tone?
Well, this guy may build pedals like King of Tone. I don't really know how he does them because I'm not technical like that. I just buy things and I like them or I don't.
Yeah.
But, I don't.
I dig that. I dig it.
I don't buy a lot of gear, guys. I use what I've got. I've used the same gear for years and years and years. I just get things fixed. I repair things, but he really looked after me on those pedals. Obviously, that's why I'm promoting that I use them, and they're all over my EP as well. So, but that being said, I will mention this. Just go back onto the thing. These are stomp tops, right?
Hold on, mate. Yep. Where do you get them from? Because I noticed there's a guy called Dave Nesdall who I follow on social media, and he's got them different coloured. Where do you buy them from?
Well, this guy was from Tone Revival Engineering, who does my Marshall amp repairs, and he's pretty much souped up my main Marshall to be like a Marshall on steroids. These here, you can buy them all different colors, but I got clear just because I like to match the existing dials. Yeah, I didn't want it to look too foreign, but these are lifesavers on stage. I have to say, if you're a guitar player, go to Tone Revival Engineering's website, and they basically stick on. They don't come off. You can take them off if you want to, but they don't come off just like on stage. They won't come off. They're basically there until you take them off. And fantastic, because all my pedals now have got them. Every single pedal that I've got, I've put them on.
So it just turns into a much bigger surface area for you to stomp on.
Yeah.
Is that really the theory behind them? Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, I put them on. This is my amp switcher.
Hold on.
So I just put them on everything I've got.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's just a pedal for switching channel and boost. But yeah, I wouldn't buy it. I'm seeing Kurt's thing there, great. But if you're in Australia, buy Australian made. This guy, yeah.
Can you do me a favour, Brad? Can you flick me when we've finished the website, and we'll put that in the on the comments after the show. If you can do that for me, I'll be grateful. Oh wow. Wow.
Yep. So this pedal here featured on my EP a fair bit as well. Yeah, they're fantastic. I can't say enough good things about those stomp tops. Something so simple yet really effective on stage.
Wow. So hold on, folks, hold on. We're a bit slow here. Hold on, guys, hold on.
Now it's time for Brad's Tech and Tone Tips.
Oh dear.
Oh, goodness. I can't get over that. That's a highlight for you, isn't it?
Well, that's a segue for you to say, go and get yourself some tone. What are they called? Toggle.
These are stomp tops. They're called
stomp tops
by Tone Revival Engineering. Now,
awesome.
I can't say enough good things about them. Every single pedal I use live, I've got these on. Obviously, it's a wider surface area for your foot, and obviously, if we're all familiar with MXR pedals, sure.
Yep.
The actual little switch on them I always found annoying.
Are they all an industry standard, those stomp tops? Are they?
Well, they fit on all switches, so yeah.
Okay.
And there's actually YouTube clips showing you how to fit them, how to take them off, all sorts of stuff. Guy, I don't know, Andrew, if you watched that that video I did on YouTube was from Tone Revival Engineering with my mate Dave Leslie on it from Baby Animals.
Yes.
He's the amp guy that pretty much made this Marshall here my main amp. He's the dude. But yeah, he does these.
Okay.
That's what I support. I support local, and I try and buy everything from local guys. You know, I find that if you support the
Nothing
local
wrong
guys,
with that. Nothing wrong
You
with that.
it might cost a tiny bit more, but it's not much. But it's worth supporting local guys to keep them going. Because I don't necessarily like buying stuff from sources that are ripping other people off and things like that. I don't like doing that. I think, you know, that's just a whole nother argument. We won't go there. So that was my
Yeah.
tone.
Brad's taking tone tips. But yeah, look, I think you're right, Simon, and Brad. I think, given what's happening, you know, especially here in New Zealand, getting product from overseas is becoming very, very difficult. In my industry where I work, you know, there's going to be a lot of supply issues. I went to the local music shops yesterday, spoke to a couple of guys there. There's no high-end guitars in New Zealand. Guys have spent their money that would normally go on holiday, Simon and Brad. They've been going in buying guitars. There's no high-end guitars. There's no Ernie Ball guitar strings in New Zealand. If you want guitar strings, you're using everyone else's. There's no Ernie Balls. First time ever. So I think this idea of buying locals probably going to be forced upon us. Is that a bad thing?
No, I think it's a sign of the times with everything we've endured over the last 12 months. I think it's important to support local business, put money back into, you know, the country that you live in, support the country, support its goods. I think, mate, honestly,
I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot.
The stuff we get, like Sean Klinger, he should be selling stuff worldwide, but he's, you know, and people need to know this guy's brand, Klinger Pedals. Go check them out, guys. Brilliant. You can order them.
Cool. I'm a patriot, mate. I love my country. I'll support it.
Yeah. So, what about you, Mr. Bolton? What else have you bought this year? I bought another major purchase.
Nothing really. I bought a Yamaha THR 30 at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, getting my blues breaker, Simon and Brad, certainly, you know, a lifelong amp, you know, and getting one and plugging that baby into it, and finally getting that bass and treble tightness that you can only feel and experience because it's under your fingers. You understand what I mean? And this is why you know a tube amp is always going to beat a modelling amp, in my opinion, because it's under your fingers. You know, modelling amps are great. They're great. Don't get me wrong, but getting that vibe under your fingers, Simon and Brad, you can't beat it, can you?
No, especially on guitar. Especially on guitar, there's something organic and earthy about valves, pickups, the way they respond together. You know, the modeling stuff's great, and I use modeling and amp stuff on my EP, for example. Like when I was laying down bass guitar, it was all modeling. You know, I laid bass down. I have a bass amp. I used a modeling amp, and it was fantastic. But with guitar, I think it's a little bit different because of the frequency and the way the valves respond to the pickup and your. It's like that with the, you know, they go on about impulse response with modeling stuff, but that impulse response, I mean, that's what we're talking about effectively, is that response you get from your playing hands, the valves red hot, the speaker response, the percussive way you play, the dynamics, it all works together. So 100% back what you just said there, Andrew. 100%.
Cheers.
Yeah.
What about you, Simon?
Well,
have you got any other gear?
My other major purchase, which I'm not going to lug in here, by the way, is I bought an Orange Rocker 32 combo.
That's correct.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about that.
Which is great. Yes, I haven't lugged it in yet, but it's not that heavy. But it's just under some stuff. But yeah, I decided after 25 years or something of having my PV Delta Blues, my 1 amp, and after it did crap out on me fairly majorly at a gig, I did have a spare that I could use, but I wasn't quite. So I thought, well, I've been looking around for another amp for a while, tried it out in the shops, liked it, particularly liked the fact that you can put 2 separate channels into, one channel into each speaker, so you can kind of have a stereo effect in 1 amp. You can do a
I
wet
remember
dry
that.
thing
You
into 1 amp.
freaked out. You freaked out because you had your stereo amps going.
And then I put my PV and this together, and it's like, good
Holy
God,
shit!
haven't it? You get a sound then, man alive. I can't wait to take that out gigging just for a laugh. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It's a great amp. Sounds really great. It's as I say, it's got this ability. You can plug in the back. You can plug 2 things in and have them go to separate speakers, which is quite interesting. It has
Got to have a good amp, don't you? Got to have a good amp.
It's got 2 channels. The first channel is basically you only get a volume model. You only get a volume with it. The bass and treble mid stuff doesn't. It's set up for the particular sound, which I guess you've got to either like or not. I mean, you could tweak it on your guitar and you could tweak it on other bits, but the amp is set up to give you a particular sound clean, and then it's got the drive channel as well, which you switch between the 2. But yeah, the fun bit is the ability to do a bit of a wet dry or stereo stuff on its own. It's good for that on its own, but if you get 2 amps. Epic is the word I'm using. This is my discovery of this year. Is that two guitar amps? Is that you can get an epic sound out of that? All that, especially on the ambient stuff. Amazing sounds. But so yeah, I got a deal on it as well. I got a really good deal on it. So I'm really pleased to have it because it's if my PV is 25 years old, getting a bit crackly and a bit sort of bit arthritic, so it's nice to have a new amp to kind of to back it up at least. I don't know. I might take them both out and do them both if Dave will let me, depending on where we're playing. I quite fancy doing at least one thing with a stereo nuttiness on it. But, so that's my other major purchase, and I've been really pleased with it. And as I said, I've been looking around for a while about what to buy, tested out quite a lot of amps. Discovered that I'm not a huge fan of the Fender sound. It's just not the PV is not like the Fender, I discovered, and it has a much more rounded sound. Doesn't have that kind of mid scoop thing that a lot of Fender have. I don't really like that. So anyway, I did. Oh, look at that! I did. I did try. I tried the Tone Masters as well, which was interesting. The new Fender sort of modelling single thing, they model a Blues Deluxe or something. Really good, by the way. If I was a gigging musician and I had to take something on the road like that, I'd take one of those because it weighs about 25 pounds. It's that you could pick it up with one finger, and it's close enough for the sound you go for live. There's no moving parts, no glass things in the back kind of thing. I'd absolutely be using that in a heartbeat for if I was a gigging musician like that, because I think it would work really well and be really robust and save you a lot of trouble, especially weight-wise.
Awesome. Brad, you got any other purchases that you got this year that you want to share?
The only other purchase that I've got is the thing I'm actually doing this show on, a MacBook Pro. So I'm using it now. So I picked that up Boxing Day, and obviously quite an expensive investment, but had some assistance and help as part of my Christmas present from my mum and my dad. So
awesome.
Yeah. But that's probably the most expensive purchase I've had this year, and probably the most expensive purchase I've had for many a year.
Well, we were all remarking yesterday, weren't we, about how clear you were and how good you were with, coming across, Yeah, so even from this perspective of just doing shows, it's come across really well. So no, good on. Simon, have you got any planned purchases, or is there anything that you're looking at that you might like to buy next year?
Not particularly. I might I might build myself maybe a 4 or 5 pedal board. That's possibly, yeah. I've got a couple of things. I've got a Marshall, an original Marshall Bluesbreaker pedal, and I've got one or two other things. But and I've got the D&M drive as well, the Dan and Mick from that pedal show, which is fantastic pedal. But I've not kind of put in. Currently, Brad, I'm better. I use an old Boss GT3 for my giggy stuff, which has survived a lot of years of me falling over it, dropping things on it, all sorts of things. And actually, I really like it, and it's got kind of acoustic simulators and various other things in it, which for the sort of stuff that Dave and I do is really useful.
Yeah,
which is why I'm using it, but principally because I'm a clumsy git and dropping it and stuff is like, dropping it'd be classic me to drop the pedal board face down or something.
That's what happens.
None of it will ever work again.
That's what happens when you pay the band and beer. You see. But it does the job. It does the job really well. I'd love to get a Boss GT1000. To be honest, I'd love to get the hugely updated version of it. But
that looks really good for a gigging musician. It looks like a really good option for, especially if you're using backline gear, you're not using your own amps. That would be something that would be worth an investment for some of the level of musicians that are touring around Australia and stuff like that, and they've got to use backline hire. It's a good option, very good option.
Yeah. I mean, I've got out of situations where I can remember when I played in the band that the other guitar player Ian, his amp broke at a gig, at a wedding gig. So we just basically, he used my amp and I plugged my GT3 straight into the PA, just took him out straight in. Fine, had a bit of fault, stuff in the fallback ones, just worked fine, and I think that you can't go, they say you can't go wrong with a Boss, and it kind of, that has been proved to me over and over again. That thing just keeps going like a tank, and it's, so I've worked a bit on the sounds and stuff and kind of sculpted them a bit and stuff like that, so that I would say they were reasonable. Yeah, it's old, but in a band context, it works really well. It's got all those things, and I've tried newer ones. I haven't tried the Boss GT1000, but I've tried newer ones. And to be honest, I AB'd like a 9 or something again. I couldn't tell the difference between the sounds at all. Literally going back and forth A-B, and not being able to tell the difference. Thinking, I won't upgrade to the 9 then. If I can't hear the difference between the two, I'll stick with what I've got. So it's, I've done a bit of work to some of the sounds and stuff like that to make them what I want. But it has such a variety of things that, as you say, tuck it under your arm. Because if you're doing in a covers band, and you're doing a big variety of music, so it's some acoustic stuff, and then you maybe want a voxy sound if you're going to do some Tom Petty, and then you want maybe more of a sort of Marshall-y thing if you're going to do something else. It's just got them in a box, and for me, they are way good enough for that level of gigging to work. It's not the same as a pedal. I'm not pretending it's the same as a pedal. They're not, but to be able to just go, I need that sound for this. If I'm going to do the Beatles, I just say, there's a voxy sound for that. Right, that'll work. Off you go. Without really having to think about it too much. Is because I have a lot to think about when I'm gigging. Like where in God's name are the fingers going. So not having to worry about the gear is a good idea in my books. And those fearsomely complicated pedal boards with kind of switches and all that.
What about you, Brad? Got any future gear purchases planned that you want to share with us?
Yeah, look, I'm planning on doing. I'm a big stickler with work with what you've got rather than purchase something new. I'm always for that because, you can move forward and I've been disappointed in the past and rebought stuff that I used to have because I've sold it and realised what I bought wasn't as good and then gone back to it. Probably the main one would be refret this baby. I've had this guitar since 1999, and the frets are very low on it now. So probably refret. This is my main guitar.
Is that all original, Brad? Is that all original?
Look, I've made some modifications along the way, and I always find modifying your own gear to suit you is probably, I've changed the pickups over. I've put push-pull pots to coil tap the pickups on the. Oh, there goes that. Yeah. So a few little mods.
Turn into a weapon.
Yeah, I've got to fix a few things on it. It's actually, this has seen every gig since 1999. This guitar.
Wow.
It needs
tone bolts.
Desperately needs a refret. I mean, it's still playable, but I play pretty heavy, so I'm starting to dig into the fretboard now. So obviously this guitar, probably do a few mods to this, just mainly a refret, probably fix that.
I think that's part of the vibe, Brad, isn't it? The things that my friend Chris Buck, has got a Strat, but the middle, he's got a Highway 1 Strat that he uses his main guitar, but the middle tone control has just broken off. So he's just got this gap. He's like never fixed it, never done it. Now he's just got he's obviously turned full up. Oh, wait a minute. I've got one of those. Yes.
I'm probably going to make this a road weapon. I'm going to probably just do a few mods to this thing. So this is a Mexican Hendrix. So it's got, it's still hardly used. But for live gigging, if I'm ever able to tour, this will become on the road with me. I'll probably just make a few mods. I'm going to put a bone nut in it, maybe a brass block in the back, maybe fix the tremolo so it's a bit freer and works a bit better. To be honest with you, I'm probably going to buy another scratch plate and load it with better pots and better input jack and different pickups. I'll take that off, and then if I ever want to put it back away, so I can slam the old pick guard back on. But this is because it's got such a good neck. It feels amazing. So for me, guitars, the weight and how they feel on the neck is so important for me. And this would be the guitar I could probably take if I do go around the world or whatever. I'll probably take this and a Les Paul that I'm not so sentimentally attached to, and that would be it. And maybe a wah pedal, like a tube screw pedal. I've
got one little gripe that I want to shout out to Gibson. So this Les Paul that I bought's a 2019 Les Paul. I've never gigged this, and that plastic input jack thing fell to bits within a year. Yeah. And it's and for $12 New Zealand dollars, I went and bought a go-to one. Come on, Gibson. Come on. Get rid of those crappy little plastic input jacks and put a metal one on. And while we're talking about modifications, so I've flipped. Oh, you good boy. That's the way. Yeah, you've done the same thing too. Yeah. They're rubbish, aren't they? They're absolute rubbish.
You talk about a beautiful guitar.
Yep.
And you slam on an input jack that just falls to bits on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's helpful.
Mine just fell to bits just gigging here in the man cave. But getting back to this one here, so I've flipped the magnet on this, and I've changed the what do you call it? These knobs here, because I didn't like the knobs that came with it. But one thing I've noticed, guys, when I put it in out of phase, if I take my hand off the string and I fiddle with the volume, there's just a little bit of a, and I've done some research, and apparently that's what happens when you flip the magnet. So there's some. So you got to keep your hand, or Peter
Yeah,
Green,
the
for
strings.
example. Yeah, he kept his hands on the strings because that did something to the field, or does something to the field when you fiddle with your volume. So, but yeah, I'm glad. I actually wanted to talk about this on a live show a couple of months ago. That piece of crappy plastic.
I did exactly the same thing, Andrew, at the start of the year.
Got them replaced.
And I was so proud of that. I was like, how freaking good is that?
Whoa, okay, well, look at this bad boy then. Look at that one. Wow, and I did that myself too.
Look, Andrew, got two bad boys.
I got two bad boys there.
Look at Brad's at the gym.
Yeah. I don't understand why Gibson do that, but look. they
Yeah,
obviously
seriously.
They-
Seriously, it's bullshit.
I mean, they want to match the this pickups around with that. That's basically why they do it. But when it comes to it, got a nickel type bridge hardtail.
Mm.
I put strap locks on. Why couldn't they match that?
Yeah.
See, we just don't get it, do we? We don't understand. Brad, what pickups have you got in there? What pickups did you put in that one?
These are Sir pickups. I put Doug
nice.
Aldrich Sir pickups in
Okay.
this
Yeah.
one and this one. So these are my stage Les Pauls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are they quite high output, or are they?
They're high output, but remarkably very vintage sounding. So the frequency of these pickups.
Yeah, you said this the other day, didn't you? The frequency rather than the.
Well, for me, these pickups just work for me. I mean, I'm not big on high output pickups, but when I put them in my guitar, they just manage to bring all the low mids and the mids out that I was searching for. And they clean up amazingly. So when you back your volume off, they clean up so well. I can't say enough good things about these pickups. And then to make, matters even better, when you coil tap them, a single coil, they just sound like a Stratocaster.
That's fantastic.
And the pickups don't lose their body. Because a lot of the time, guys, when you use humbuckers and you coil tap them, they tend to go a little bit softer. But these pickups don't do that. I was quite shocked.
How did you choose them, Brad? How did you go about? Had you heard them before and played something else with them in?
To be honest with you, I did a lot of online research, and then I tried one set out. And since then, all my main guitars that I play on stage with humbuckers, I put them in because I can get a guitar tone I like with these pickups, this, and a guitar straight into my amp.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm after.
Yeah.
No pedals. So the pedals are the color. But that's that old school thing. But I've put these pickups up against Les Pauls with lower output pickups, and I can get still the body and everything. I mean, they are a fairly high output humbucker, but I have heard, and I mean, you talked about some of the pedal show and stuff like that. Sometimes it's not the output of the pickup that's important; it's the resistance.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and that's one thing that I noticed, especially when I picked up my Les Paul. I noticed very, very immediately when I was fiddling with it, the tone knob and its effect that it had on all of the cheaper Les Paul guitars that I had over the years, Brad. When I fiddled with the tone, it went immediately into muddy. There was no gradual change in the tone. But I have to tell you, on my Les Paul, that the tone knob definitely has an effect. and it's pleasing. It's pleasing to hear because it just adds that dynamic that you probably wouldn't get on a guitar that's under $1,000.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, if you want to turn it all up to 10, but if you're looking for variation,
I think you get what you pay for a lot in this day and age.
yeah,
I mean, a quality guitar, you can buy a guitar and it's quality at a low price as well. Not saying that, but I've played some cheaper guitars that are apparently brilliant quality, and then I compare them to one of my US made Gibsons or Fender, and they feel a bit like a toy in comparison. So
yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
that's been very interesting and very informative. And we can probably talk about some more gear stuff in future shows. Because I never get sick and tired of that. But I do want to ask you guys: are there any, Simon? Are there any wish list things for 2021? That you want to share with us, and then Brad, I'll get you to jump in with yours, and then I'll finish with mine. Is there anything that you want to share? And the same with you guys in the chat. Are there any 2021 things you'd like to see?
Well, I mean, a couple really. The most obvious ones, as far as I'm concerned, is get back to gigging, playing, and get on my guitar breaks holiday in Italy. would be my two things. Because I can tell you, a week in a country hotel in Italy, fooling about playing guitars with not much phone signal, and hanging out with some cool people, and just getting away. I mean, it's a fantastic getaway from, like, obviously my work and all of that, which has gone nuts the last 9 months. But just being able to go and sit in, the Tuscany or Umbrian countryside of Italy, which is beautiful, and kind of not have much in the way of social media, not have much in the way of anything, just sitting around playing guitars, and in the evening doing, drinking a few glasses of wine and having a nice meal, and just generally hanging out, and not thinking, oh, I'll just take my children to school and stuff like that. That's really what it is escape, But it's a fantastic thing, and hats off to Ian, the guy who runs it, because it is a great thing to do. I'd recommend it to anybody of any abilities. If you want to go and just get a week away from it, if you're allowed. I have a very understanding wife, Caroline, that allows me to go to Italy for a week. But it's brilliant fun, and and I'm really looking forward to getting back into that this year with a bit of luck. Hopefully later on, it will be
cool.
It will be mine,
Brad.
Yeah,
Gigging,
of course.
A new release in 21 of my own independent release again, and ultimately I'd love to buy some more guitars, but I mean, I just want to work on the stuff I've got.
It's funny that, isn't it? Yeah, that thing about, I mean, I've got 5 guitars. Yeah, I've got 2 Strats. I've got like a Super Strat as well, which I put sewer pickups in as well, just a bit of vanity project. And I've got a Telecaster, and I've got a sort of Les Paul copy as well. It's really good. But I kind of think I don't feel the need to have any other guitars, really. If I can't do it with that lot, you can't do it, Sadly, The talent is not in the guitars. The lack of talent is here. But it's all in there, And I'm like you. I spend majority of my time plugging into an amp. I plug direct. If I'm playing in at home, I just plug my guitar straight in the amp. I don't ever use effects. Just plug straight in the amp. If I want a bit of drive and I've got channel 2, and I can press the button with my little finger, so, change it, So really, I spend my entire life playing pretty much clean, into the amp, whichever guitar I'm using.
Yeah.
I'm just using it, So I agree with you about that. It's sadly, I got plenty enough gear. The talent is the difficult bit. It's not disguising.
Andrew?
Look, I got a couple of things here I want to share with you guys and the guys and girls in the chat. So, look, hopefully, I'd like to see maybe some EV8 stuff coming out. I'm not really holding my breath on that, and we'll probably talk about that more on the Van Halen show. I'd like to see the channel get 1,000 subscribers by this time next year. So that's something that we're going to have to ask you guys here in the chat that watch us and are regular contributors to the show. We can't do that without you guys, so we'll be talking to you more about how we can reach that goal. I'd like to see, with the passing of Peter Green, maybe they do a reissue of the first two Fleetwood Mac albums, Fleetwood Mac and Mr. Wonderful, and it'll be nice to see if they can do something with that. They did a re-release early this year with Then Play On, which is an album, guys, that we'll probably do a skip and play on next year. It's a masterpiece of an album. I'm hanging out to see the Beatles film, Let It Be, the one that Peter Jackson's working on. Hanging out for that, and I look forward to doing a couple of shows after that with you guys, talking about that, and maybe even doing the Let It Be album. So, so we'll be topical for a change. I'm looking forward to the new Peter Green biography, hopefully, which will be out next year. And if all goes well, if I manage to save a little bit of money and do a few little bits and pieces, I might get a Martin D28 next year.
Oh, nice.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my wish list, guys. And I've kept it apolitical.
Yes.
Well done. Haven't we all? Yeah.
So just touching on what you said there, Andrew, I would really love to see your channel get up to 1,000.
Our channel.
So
Our channel.
I really think it's important for everyone out there, and I'm pointing at everyone.
Hold on. That's the thumbnail. At 1:32. Okay, that's the thumbnail for this show. That's a thumbnail. All right, got it.
Okay, every one of you guys need to help the spread of this channel because we need it to be viral. So the only way for that to happen, realistically, is for everyone who loves this show, share your favorite episode on your wall in your Facebook or whatever social media you're on platform, and ask your friends to check it out. Anyone that you know that likes this sort of talk or likes diving deep into the albums we're going, share it with them. Tell them, have you checked these guys out? They're very insightful. They're funny characters. They're a little bit ditzy at times, or they're a little bit whatever it may be, that you're quirky or whatever you think. And that goes for, if you're like an artist, you should be doing the same thing. Don't just sit on it and sit on your hands and go, well, I like this. Share it, So that's the only way that this channel is going to grow organically, is for you guys to, I'm pointing at everyone. So I firmly believe that, and this is, it goes back to sort of the stuff I do online to promote myself, is people only know about me through other people sharing it, because, we don't, we're not in the business to pay to subscribe to get people to, place ads and things like that for us. The more we can spread this like a virus through social media, the quicker it will grow. And obviously, the quicker it grows, we can keep the content flowing and keep the channel growing, and it supports even Andrew just keeping this channel going. And he's got cost involved every month to keep this going. So yeah. And that's the only reason why, to be fair, and
I'll make this quite clear too. I've said it before when Simon and I have been live, and I'll say it now, Brad. Anything that the channel gets. So if someone sends me a guitar, I'd seriously consider giving some kind of recompense to my other co-hosts. I'm not going to take it all. That's not what I'm about. That's not what this channel's about. And I'm serious when I say that. If anyone knows me, I'm a man of my word. So I'm not here to take the money and run. But I'm just making a point, that this show belongs to, everybody. I enjoy it, and I appreciate the fact that you guys are pushing the channel, and you reiterating that point, Brad. That we can't do this without Sonia, without Kurt. Kurt's been all over Instagram pushing. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. He's just been going hard pushing the channel. Thank you. Sonia, she's been pushing the channel for a long time. But, if you guys can do exactly what Brad said, share it with your friends, and before you know it, we'll have 1,000 subscribers, and we'll have a party.
Maybe in 6 months. We might even get there in 6 months if everyone does this, So, and unfortunately, YouTube works on subscribers, so so it monetizes once there's a certain amount of subscribers or views per thing. So just keep that in mind, guys. We want to keep doing this. I don't want
to get political, but YouTube contradict themselves all the time, don't they?
It's a vicious social media thing is,
yeah. But if we got 1,000 subscribers, that would be good. It'll be a good milestone for the channel. And don't forget Brad too. Brad's on social media. We keep pushing Brad. He's if anyone's watching the replay and you've got to the end, there he is there. Where's Brad? There he is there. He's on the bottom. So he's trailing on the bottom there. Brad-cook.com. But I think it's great fun. It's great fun hanging out with you guys and the people in the chat. I know a couple of shows we said we don't take it for granted and we appreciate it, but we can never be thankful enough, Simon and Brad.
No, absolutely not.
And everyone that comments, we do discuss it offline. So
yeah.
We take everyone's comments on board.
I like this fake book, Twaddle and TikTok.
Pretty top tick.
Oh, jeepers. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I suppose, and the big thing, I suppose, is for everyone to stay safe.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep at it for another few months.
Yes.
That's it, isn't it? You've got to hold it. I mean, the UK is going nuts right now. So, with the thing.
Is it what?
Because people cannot control themselves. It's just weird. They control themselves for a little bit, but I mean, there were pictures yesterday of South Wales, where there's like literally thousands of people on the beach and the seafront, wandering about. I know they're in open air, but they're in close proximity to each other. Blimey.
It's madness because, we're not going to get political, obviously, but
it's madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Look, I think we just, and we'll just concentrate on the good things, which is, the album reviews that we do. I'm looking forward to Abbey Road, Ellen put a comment early on in the show. She's looking forward to more Beatles content, and Simon and I actually have done a few Beatles shows, but this is before we discovered the fact that we could do skip and play and ranking the tracks. So I'm looking forward to doing that because Carl mentioned last night a Revolver versus Rubber Soul. Gosh, those albums, jeepers. The holy moly. We've got some good albums to keep going through, guys. So if you guys like the format, it seems to be working. We seem to be getting positive feedback. We're getting a few hits, so it seems to be working. I like it. I think it's working fine.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think we've, we're getting the idea about how it works and what we need to do, and yeah, I'm going round. Yeah. It's cool. So, guys, we've got anything? Got any recommendations from across the world of media that things you've been looking at this year? Things you think would be interesting to us and the audience? Like things on things on Netflix or things on YouTube that you've been looking at that you haven't.
Guitar Man, the new John Bonamassa DVD. Yeah, that's available for download on iTunes if you can't actually go out and actually buy the DVD. Fully recommend that. But 100%. I suppose the big one, the big one's got to be Let It Be, which should have been out now. we should be talking about that now.
But no. That was what I was alluding to earlier in the show. But you've put the cat out of the bag, so that we will be doing probably a 2-part show on that movie when that comes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
go to the cinema.
Yeah.
Just stream it or whatever. But yeah.
I think what they'll do though, I'm pretty sure, Brad and Simon, I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere that they would be it will be a release in all formats.
Okay.
Because of COVID. Yeah. I didn't want to say it. I said it.
That was my fault.
Yeah.
Definitely. But also, a shout out to a couple of people, which I'm not sure if we mentioned earlier, Andrew, to Dropkick Blues, Matt from Dropkick Blues. He's been pretty proactive in promoting the channel. So thank you, Matt, if you're watching this later, if you're not watching it now. I'm just trying to think of some other socials and things like that we've missed off. Andrew.
I want to do a special shout out to the Rubmeister, who's the main instigator for the 5150 Van Halen show, which is a sister show to the Sunday show that we do, the British Electric Blues show. Yep. And we've got Kurt, who's a contributor to that show too. So we are picking up some subscribers from that part of the show. So we do appreciate that and the work that those guys are doing for that. Thank you. And there's Matt there. You can find Matt on Instagram at Dropkick Blues.
Yep.
Fantastic. Fantastic platform. And anyone who, just on that, I know I mentioned it yesterday, but anyone here that's watching, if you're guitar players, get onto my solo challenge. Just go to Dropkick Blues and it's all there. You'll explain it all. Just go there. You got till, I think, Sunday this week to get it done. Anyone who wants to have a crack. It's just for fun, guys. It's a great way to connect with other guitar players as well. So, yeah.
Cool.
Good prizes too. And the best part is you'll get put on his platform playing, which is, I think it's over 150,000 people now. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's definitely worth. If you're a guitarist and you want to great platform to put yourself out there in.
We're keeping away from that.
Come on.
150,000 people.
That's
149,995 too many.
Look, we were always going to do anything and everything we can, Sonia, to get Carl back. So, he enjoys coming on, and he likes his bullet points, and he likes to get them, shot out. And So he has an open invitation, but let's try and get him on here once a month at least.
Carl's cookery.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I love it. Carl Cam. That's the highlight.
and look at this. Kurt's optimistic. Kurt, thank you, Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt.
Certainly with your help. Yeah. Good friend of the channel. Thank you. And we're live New Year's Day. It's New Year's Day.
To me, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas, it's all put on ice for me. I'm not really seeing it as part of something to focus on.
No.
No.
Yeah, means nothing to me too. But it's New Year's Eve for our North American viewers and hosts. So we look forward to that. So if you guys haven't checked that out, that's coming up. What are we today? Today's Monday. In 5 days' time, 6 days' time.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Oh, so it's in August.
Yeah, August the 27th is the release date for it.
Can't come quick enough.
Yeah.
No. And that is the official release date, August the 27th.
So we'll do the Beatles albums then. Obviously, a few of them before then, but we won't do, obviously, Let It Be until after we've done the movie.
That's right.
Does that sound sensible, doesn't it?
100%.
What version of Let It Be are we going to do? Are we going to do the naked version, or are we going to do the horrible wall of sound?
Well, we're probably going to go over the movie first, wouldn't we?
Yeah. We'll do the movie. They'll probably release a soundtrack, won't they, with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So let's just wait and see what comes.
Okay. Yeah.
Cunning.
Yeah.
Let's not put the horse before the cart too soon, Andrew.
Yeah. I'm expecting some media though. Some not media. Some packaging around it, so that'll be good. But that who's that guy? That Phil Spector version? Never liked it.
That guy.
Yeah. Never liked it. When they came out with that naked version, gosh, how many years ago? About 10 years ago? It was just like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Taking all the Phil Spector off it.
Well, incidentally, that's exactly the way that the Beatles, that three of the Beatles wanted it. They didn't want the Spectre stuff on there, and they were disappointed when he did that, and it was like, what have you done?
Yeah.
Look at that. Quentin James, good morning.
Good morning, Quentin. All right.
Good. So, guys, just before we go, just things I've been watching, sort of a bit left field, but that people may have watched already, but that I've been really enjoying. Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. If you've not seen that, that's worth it. It's a brilliant show, brilliantly done, and some of it's hilarious. I mean, like laugh out loud, hilarious. But some of it's quite serious about what comedy is and how comedians work. And the great thing is he allows the conversation to flow, so it's worth a shot. Also, on the YouTube, I've been watching something called Fall of Civilizations, which is a serious history thing about the fall of civilizations around the world. So it's none of your UFO Egyptians kind of thing. Not that it's serious.
Oh, okay.
Which is always good for a laugh. And please, I'm
R-
not decrying it. You
r-
know,
real Romans, real Greeks, real
real Sumerians or
Babylonians.
whatever,
Yeah.
Babylonians. Yeah. Proper history. You know, whilst I'm all for Stargate under the Great Pyramid kind of thing, you know, it's please, that's all good fun, but this is serious stuff. So if anyone likes history and stuff like that, it's really well done. He's properly researched and makes really good content and stuff like that. So so they're really good. So that's what my recommendations. But that I've been enjoying recently. Things a
Awesome.
bit more left field kind of stuff.
Great Vanzini. Great Vanzini will have to come on and do one of the Beatles shows with us because Brad, I don't know if you know this, but Great Vanzini saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan show, and he joined Simon and I. He's been on the channel for a couple of shows, so we should get him on for a Beatles show closer to that Let It Be release. It'll be awesome to get him on.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you for those heads up, Simon. Do you want to do me a favor and message me those links to those shows so that I can put them on the description if you guys want to check out what Simon's been talking about, because it's all about sharing the information.
Just a bit of fun. Just anything left field you've got, Brad? We've got anything a bit more left field, not
really. I haven't really watched a lot of TV this year, to be honest with you, or any Netflix. I've been watching random things on Netflix, but yeah, I've watched a few like thrillers and things like that, but nothing that sort of I even think's worth. It's funny because I'm finding it really difficult to sink my teeth into any real programs at the moment on TV or Netflix, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm not really I'm just finding it really hard to sink my teeth into anything at the moment, but I'll take any suggestions on board. At least once I'll go check them out. You know, if I don't like it, I'll sure let you know about it.
The Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
Mandalorian. Yeah, I
Disney
haven't
Plus.
to that. Yeah. So I feel
resurrecting the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
Hey, before we knock off, do you want to give Quentin an answer to this question? I know you love talking about those kegs that are behind you.
Okay, the kegs. All right. So they're both basically JCM / heads, but if you were to say what model is that, it's basically a Jubilee Marshall. So if you're familiar with the Jubilee Marshall, it's just a reissue. But this one here, this one I'm pointing at, has been modified by my good friend was at Tone Revival Engineering, who I spoke about earlier with the stomp tops here in Melbourne. So if you're in Melbourne, Victoria, and you want your amp modified or repaired, he's the dude, because this thing is an absolute monster. This thing here, it's just phenomenal amp. So if I could tool with that thing around the world, I would, but it's not possible. But I can plug any guitar into that amp. It sounds great. It doesn't matter what you plug into it.
Brad, what mods have you had done? What did you?
Well, it's funny because I did have it modded previously by someone else, and we put the Marshall back into it. So, but there's a certain mid frequency with it now, and it's thick. It's a thick tone without much, like you don't have to gain it up. Like my gain, everything on my EQ on this, if I was to show you the EQ setting, I've pretty much got it all on 12 o'clock. It's just phenomenal. The whole spectrum of tonality is there now, which it was missing. So
awesome.
It's just it's come to life. It's an absolute monster. I can plug this head into any quad box, any twin speaker box, whatever, and it just sounds phenomenal. It's funny, you get someone to really tweak we changed capacitors, resistors over. We did all sorts of stuff. While it was out, we had the actual frame of it out of the full casing. We had it in a vise. And while I'm playing my guitar, he was changing capacitors, resistors, we're changing things over to get it to exactly where we wanted it. So, yeah. He's an absolute genius, wizard. I call him the amp wizard.
But you were sitting down basically changing capacitors and going yes no kind of thing.
Yeah, as I was playing, and I've got a photo somewhere on my Instagram of how he had it in the vise, and I took it because I thought it was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Because I was playing my guitar, and he's changing. He's going, "What about this one? What about this one?" And this is with it, this is without it, and obviously, ultimately, we just went for a really
Interesting. Yeah.
brownish sort of Marshall tone, but how I wanted it. And I've never had an amp sound anywhere near as close to perfection as that. You know how we're always tone chasing and we're always seeking that tone. We're always looking for it. Well, I've found the fucking thing.
And
on that note,
1 hour 56, and we swearing. Parental guidance.
It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys, as usual. So I just want to do one little quick shout out to Amy, who's been watching us, and she's been a good friend of the channel on other social media platforms. So again, ask her, you two, please. Ask her if she ever wants to come on a Peter Green show, and we're going to have one. We would love to have her on because she is a Peter Green nut.
Sounds good. Yes, Amy, come on. And
this is where you guys jump in and say, "Get on here, Amy."
Amy, come on. Honestly, we need more women in rock YouTube land for sure.
We try to keep this a family show, so I do apologise for swearing, guys.
No. It's okay.
You're allowed 1 hour 56 minutes in, Brad. It's fine.
That's time out.
No one will know.
Mate, we've that's no comparison to that nightmare show that we had a couple of months ago. That so yeah.
I was trying to be part of that, Andrew, and I couldn't get on. Remember?
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Your unsullied reputation. Oh well, it's fine. We learned lots and we moved on from that. It's fine.
I really like the effort,
Quentin.
Andrew, to keep the show positive. So definitely like.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. My channel is a total sausage feast. We know that, and a bacon.
Yes,
and a burger,
bacon,
and everything
burgers.
else.
Ketchup. It's a ketchup fest.
Ketchup
Face
fest.
facts, a ketchup fest. Quentin's ketchup show.
Yeah. Look, we do appreciate you guys joining us as usual. It's a pleasure. I'm just going to say thank you. We'll see you. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, and we're going to say, because you're away next week and the week after, aren't you? And the first 2 weeks in January.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay, so I'll talk to Brad. I'll talk to Brad and Carl off air through social media, and I'll do a channel update on when we're going to be doing the Sunday show. So, yeah, I can't give a date at this stage. So I will. Just keep. Just keep watching the channel, and if you follow us on other social media platforms, we'll have a date for you.
Yeah, but next week you're doing the
Van Halen show.
Van Halen show, but not any other shows. We're not doing Sunday, are we? No, that's
no,
fine. So
no.
I can have a lie-in.
Thank you, Alan.
Ah, dear, guys. Well. Fantastic. Should we say Happy New Year to everyone in the chat? So yes, Ellen and Quentin, great Vanzini, Sonia, as ever. Tone Bolts, thanks Tone Bolts for being here. Who else have we had? Hobo Roadie. Happy New Year to you guys. And yeah, we've had a steady 10 people, which is really cool. Kurt S 5150. Kurt, Happy New Year to you. We'll see you next week on the Van Halen show. But hopefully that's on Wednesday still. Dave, Happy New Year, mate. I hope you're good. Up in the north of England there. Nelson Rodriguez. Guys, thanks for joining. And yeah, we'll see you in the new year. Hopefully I've got everybody. I think I have. and Arvin, who may catch this on replay. Saying Happy New Year to you all. And thank you very much for your support over this year. We'll be back cleaner, fresher, ready to go.
And you've been warned, Brad. Look at that. Because Sonia's she's a moderator,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
5 minutes
Bam,
time out.
hammer.
But then she backs it up with a grin. So yeah. Okay. He's banned. He's banned himself.
He's bad as a get in.
I just got so excited I slipped up. That was my fault.
You were making a point.
And that's fine.
You were making a point. As a rock and roller, you were making a point. I was watching a show years ago, about 8 years ago, and it was a couple of guys from the UK, and it was a music show, and they don't exist anymore. It was on YouTube, and they were using Google Hangouts. And back in the day when you were using Google Hangouts, and Simon will remember, you didn't know when you were live. You didn't know. You didn't. Yeah, it was like, and then are we live? And someone in the chat, and these guys were swearing like, and you could tell that they wouldn't do their show normally swearing, and they were swearing just like normal. And then someone said, "You're live," and gosh, these guys went red, mate. It was just fantastic. They were just like supremely embarrassed.
That makes me like laugh, because I think one of the very first couple of episodes that I jumped on, Andrew, I jumped on and I didn't know we were live, and I was just like, oh, and I went, "Oh, we're live." Yeah, we're live. I'm like, oh, because I have
Surprise.
to mention, before we come on, we're talking freely and openly. We swear a lot. We're typical blokes, We swear. We say vile things. We're smelly blokes, We talk like that, As soon as we come on, it's professional, okay? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm always looking in the top left-hand corner of the screen when it says schedule. I know when it's not live, and I speak freely. And ever play tricks on me, Andrew, because I know.
Oh dear.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Dear.
So Simon's put the nice thing here in the chat. Happy New Year to you all. And let's hope that it is a Happy New Year.
Yeah. Stay safe and well, guys.
Better 21.
Yeah. It's bound to be.
Stay safe.
It's gonna be.
It will be.
It will be. That's what. Take care all. See you next year.